All right, well, the day is progressing. It looks like the pump and everything is the well is stable without anything turned on. It's holding right at 50 psi, not fluctuating. About every couple of minutes it pumps up to 60 psi and then shuts right down. So it runs for like maybe 10 seconds, if that, and then it just goes back to a static state. So that tells me it's doing well. I'll show the inside. I'll go inside and show you what I'm talking about here in a little bit. But right now what I'm focused on is putting the starter back in there where it came out from, and there's this bad starter, good starter. So I'm gonna see if I can't get this fired back up, and then that'll be another thing down and out. And the electric into the barn has been hooked up past inspection, so now I'm just waiting for the utility Delmarva to come out and put a meter in, so that'll be awesome. But anyway, so let me get at this starter here and continue on. Well, I don't think that's how that's supposed to be. For some reason, doesn't look like that one over there. So I thought I'd put a new bolt into the top. That's the bottom, actually. I thought I'd put a new bolt in the top. In fact, I know I did, but it must have worked itself out because there wasn't one in there when I got this damn thing. So I think I got a couple more like this. Go check it out. I gotta get this little stubby wire right here to work on a blade. This little stubby wire right here, that's got to work on a blade, and it had a fork figure on there, or a fork connector on there, so I had to cut it off, and you can see it's kind of tight in there, but I'm going to use this one to put on there, because what I put on the starter is I have blades that fan off the female blade, and it fans off to two male blades, because I'm not too sure. This looks like it's the starter or the fuel pump relay or solenoid, and I'm not sure if this thing was hooked up or what the deal is, but if it was, then I can put it on the other blade that I'm putting on. I'm just not sure. Maybe I could look up to see where that goes. I don't know if it's I see what it's going into. It looks like a sensor is what it looks like. I don't know. I'll see. I'll get the starter hooked up with what I know and see how it goes from there. So let me continue on here. Okay, a little heat shrink action. Blade fitting is on there. It's a little warm, but that's on there. So now with that one on there, this is what I was talking about. This is the double blade that I put on there, so I can put that blade fixture onto there that I just did, and I can leave this other one open, so I'm not sure what those other, I've got another line down there too that I'm not sure what it goes to. I don't think it went to here. I don't see how it could have. It's a little male blade, but it's real stubby, and I just kind of saw it. Well, I guess it could have went on there. It could have made it to there. I don't know. But if it goes on there, I'll cut that off and put a female blade on there just like that other one. And go from there. And I don't know. I don't know what it's for. So I'm going to put the starter in and hook up what I know to hook up and go from there. Today is, I think it's a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm back on the chipper shredder. I have a few things planned today. I got to get this line ran and fixed, and then I'm gonna cover up the water lines. Thanks God, man. I appreciate the endeavor to persevere that he endowed me with to see that thing to completion. I was getting pretty bummed about that whole situation, and I'll explain the whole thing to you under a different video. But anyway, so I'm back on the chipper shredder. I got everything going, but when the starter fell out, I noticed it ripped some lines, and of course, not having any clue about this engine, I've never dealt with it. It's a Cummins B 3.3 turbo diesel. This is the solenoid for the fuel injector pump, and evidently it broke off when the starter fell out. Broke its tab. And anyway, just by kind of hunting and pecking and looking online and checking stuff out, I noticed that if I held this line directly to the 12 volt, it would crank up and start. But as soon as I took it off the 12 volt, it would die. So it couldn't hook up to the starter because the starter's really only got 2 leads, if you will. 12 volt constant, and then the ignition switch, which only has juice to it while in the start position, not in the on or run position. So I found a line that was just hanging down here. It was this one right here. It was just hanging dead-ended like this. So that and this went to ignition. I have it out right now because I'm replacing the whole thing. Here's my new line. So this is going to go to ignition here. I got to put a new fitting on the end of it, a new connection, an eye connection, and I got to put a blade or a spade on that other end of my new one, and that'll be that. So let me get going on this. And it's hot as shit out here today, boys. This is a crazy day for heat, for us at least. But it's mid 90s, high 90s, so not a fun day to be working on this thing. But you can see there's wires just undone everywhere. I think they just undid everything just to run shit through this. So anyway, let me get on this and continue. All right, so there's my new pigtail end for the ignition switch. Goes on down. I'll zip tie it down here further as well, and goes underneath, comes out over on the engine side, and then I'll redo that into the pigtail over there. So let me I just gotta screw this back onto the terminal there and go to the other end. It's a mess in here, I'll tell you that. All right, so I have this wire with its new, that yellow is a sheath. That yellow component is a sheath over the male blade. So I got that, got it ran over to here. So with any luck, if I turn this key, this thing should start. With any luck. So let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and germs. Look at that. Fired right up. That's a good score. So, you know how one thing always leads to another. The feed drum stopped working. And again, as I mentioned, most everything on this thing's been cut or disabled other than to feed, chomp, and throw. And so therefore the feed wasn't working. I thought maybe it was jammed. I didn't know it when I shut it down, so I got it to roll a little bit by hand. Well, long story short is, because everything's just hacked up just so it starts and runs, is the solenoid that controls the drum had this stupid ass ground out to here. And when I was checking this ground to see what was going on with it, this wire just pulled out of there. So I grounded it to what I know is a good ground source, and sure enough, the drum started working again. That was like after 45 minutes of fucking around trying to figure out what's what. But anyway, it's that ground because this thing's so hacked up. How that is, there's a plug on the back side of this solenoid, and that what's grounded should be connected to this. But I don't know, the way they got this so hacked up, I'm afraid to start putting stuff back together, you know, until I'm done using this, and then I can just kind of bring it all down and do all kinds of repairs to it. But I'm just kind of afraid if I try to start fixing it now, what evils I'll uncover. And but I've been learning quite a bit on it, these switches, the reversing switches and stuff like that. So this is the reverse power feed, and it's supposed to go down to here. In fact, these three lines on the bottom part of this switch, are supposed to go into here. But here again, if I connect them in, what's that going to jack up? Because they basically just have it wired hot to the forward feed going here, which that goes to that solenoid, and then the reverse is just dead-ended. So I don't know, afraid to start fixing shit because I don't know what it'll get me into. Right now I just want it to put shit in that way and have it come out that way all chopped up, and it's kind of doing that right now. So I'm back to where I was a week or so ago, now that I've been able to work on it. So I'm gonna let it cool, then I'm gonna come back and do that later. I gotta go start burying my water lines. Yahoo, it's about time, right? So on to the next adventure of the day. Peace.